The following podcast may contain adult language and an abundance of conspiracies. So get ready, nerds, because we're talking conspiracy theory movies. And one more thing, come here for a second. Epstein didn't kill himself. Welcome, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Salty Nerd Podcast. We're talking conspiracy theory movies like Manchurian Candidate, Mel Gibson's Conspiracy Theory, and Burn After Reading. I'm joined, as always, by my fantastic panel of nerds. Matt Vader's here. What's up, dude?
Hi. got my protection on. You know,
don't let them get that freaking brave wings going, man.
There ain't nobody gonna be satelliting me from orbit.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Elon Musk and shit.
Stop saying his name.
Elon Musk. I think it's kicking in, dude.
It's good. It's good stuff. All right. I'm also joined by Jude. Welcome.
Oh, hello.
Thank you for my hat.
Oh, you're welcome.
It's glorious.
Our hats.
I was very excited when you asked me for tinfoil.
I love arts and crafts. Also here, the man behind the curtain, Matthew Kadish.
So I have to go on record as saying this has been one of my least favorite weeks ever in watching movies for this show.
Yeah, who is
and we've watched some bad
this?
movies.
You know what that means? It's going to be the best damn podcast we've ever done.
For real, who picked these?
I think it might have been me because I love all three of these movies.
It was you and Tom. Conspiracy.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
I don't know why he's not here.
Why isn't Tom here?
I know he should be.
It's a conspiracy.
You son of a bitch.
It's a conspiracy. Anyway, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us. Today we're going to talk about conspiracy theory movies. This is right up my alley. I love this stuff. Two of the three of these movies are documentaries as far as I'm concerned. But we're going to have a ton of fun. The first one on our list is Denzel Washington in Manchurian Candidate. We'll be right back after I fix my hat and we're going to talk about that movie. So stand by. Welcome back, everybody. All right, the first movie on our list, Denzel Washington in Manchurian Candidate. Take it away, Jude.
All right. I'm going to give you the synopsis of Manchurian Candidate in just a second. But first, I want to talk to you about how you can help us. So first, wherever you're watching, just hit the thumbs up button. And second, if you're listening to the audio only, just scroll down and hit that 5th star. And that really helps us out. And that's all. And it takes the least amount of time. It's seconds, literally. But if you've got time for it and you're not driving, leave us a comment. We love comments and we always read them and we might read yours on the show. And finally, if you have a few extra dollars and you want to share it, allow us to take that from you. We have a Patreon. So if you want to join the Patreon club at saltynerdclub.com or directly through the Patreon app at Salty Nerd Podcast, you can join at either the $5 or $30 tier. And that gives you access to 4 extra episodes per month that the other plebs don't get. And you can do fun stuff with us, like the club members only trivia. And we're on Discord at saltynerdiscord.com. And you can chat with us every single day if you want, no pressure. And there's a special club members chat in there too. So you can become one of the Saltines. It's a very exclusive club and help us out. And now, Manchurian Candidate.
Take it away.
2004, The Manchurian Candidate, rated R with a runtime of 2 hours, 9 minutes. This had a budget of $80 million.
$80 million.
Alex, what do you think this brought in?
Denzel Washington, $112 million.
All right. Tin Hat Man?
I have no idea. 140. Probably made $300 million or something. I don't know.
$96 million.
Oh.
Made a little bit.
Not enough to cover the merchandise.
The tin hats they were trying to sell?
Yeah.
You didn't introduce Matt.
Did I not? Yeah, I did.
Did you?
Yeah, the man behind the curtain, right?
Yeah.
It's a conspiracy.
Oh.
Did we or didn't we?
Mandela effect.
This tinfoil hat I'm going on is messing with me.
Yeah. All right, what's
I think
the
it's more
synopsis?
like the booze.
He's got pirate hooch today. He's going hard.
Dude, I got pirate hooch and a shot of bourbon.
I know. I had a Capri Sun in the fridge, and I was like, ooh, Vader.
He's going to have to take a nap before we go out tonight.
Strawberry. I was like, strawberry kiwi.
That's a
And he was
dude.
like, give me that shit.
I downed an entire thing of electrolytes just so I could sip on this and not be completely freaking wasted. So, all right, Jude, take it away. What's the synopsis
All
for
right, sir.
this movie?
Ray Donovan has been brainwashed by his mom, Meryl Streep, to become the next vice president of America. Drawing the short brainwash straw, Denzel Washington was programmed the same weekend to murder the president, which will allow Meryl Streep's baby boy to slide into that cushy Oval Office. Raymond Shaw is just a sweet, honest boy who served his country, faced down enemies, rescued his unit from attack, and all of that is bullshit. Who needs an actual hero moment when you can just alter soldiers' brains to believe it? Instead of saving his men, Shaw was getting the cyborg treatment, actually murdering them by command, and then deleting the memory of it. Instead being given the memory of a heroic act that saved the lives of all but the 2 men in his unit that he was compelled to kill. Speaking of cyborgs, Captain Ben Marco has a confrontation with Bernard that makes him start questioning his memories of the time that Shaw saved him in Kuwait. As far as he can remember, Raymond Shaw is the kindest, bravest, warmest, most selfless human being he's ever known. And that's exactly how the other surviving members of the unit remember it. Exactly. Word for word. Discuss.
This is a goddamn documentary. This MK Ultra shit is real.
It's pretty weird.
And I would not doubt it one bit if someday in the future this shit came out. Like, oh yeah, we microchip some president that we will remain unnamed.
Hold on 1 second. So you're telling me that it's not fiction that globalist politicians and corporations conspired together to undo America's democracy and put someone in the White House that they can completely control.
Quick, give them your tinfoil hat so they can't get them.
Yep, that's what we're saying.
Demonetized.
Well, no, I said it's complete fiction, right?
It's just a movie, guys.
Could never happen in real life.
No, there's too many moving parts. There's no way they could pull that off.
Safest and most secure elections ever.
Most people voted ever.
Hi, I'm Grandpa Joe.
81 million votes.
Vader, that's too specific.
Grandpa Joseph. Okay, whatever. Fucking asshole.
Corn pop.
Yeah. Jupiter. Yeah.
Whatever.
And that was the Manchurian Candidate.
This shit's real, people.
It's real.
No, okay. So on a serious note, this movie, I think this movie was cool. I think this is my first watch. I had never seen it before, which I don't know why. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen this before either.
I never got around to watching
I
it.
hadn't either.
Was this a remake of something?
Yes. So,
Wait a minute. Who programmed us to watch this?
So this was a remake of a Frank Sinatra movie based on a novel by the same name. And basically Frank Sinatra had the rights to this film. And when he died, the rights passed to his daughter, who then went to Scott Rudin at Paramount, who's one of Paramount's super producers. And she's like, hey, I got the rights to the Manchurian Candidate. You want to make a remake? And Scott Rudin was like, yes. And so they got this going. Jonathan Demme directed this movie. He was the guy who did The Silence of the Lambs. So he was coming off the success of that movie to do this one. And it has a stellar cast of actors in it, especially nowadays, because a lot of these people who were unknowns at the time have come to be quite famous in their own right.
I was completely blown away when I saw Master Chief as one of the soldiers. I was like, I recognize that guy.
Pablo Schreiber.
Yeah, Pablo Schreiber was in this movie as like he's non-speaking role, like in the background. He's one of the soldiers that gets assassinated by the main by Denzel. I think was it Denzel who shot him in this movie? I think it was.
No, it was Raymond Shaw.
Yeah, so Liev Schreiber, who plays the Manchurian Candidate in this movie, was actually he's actually half brothers with Pablo Schreiber. So
yeah, it was cool to see him.
Killed his own brother for this movie.
Well, he's like, hey, I got to roll for you. It's non-speaking. You're in the background, and I'm going to shoot you in the face. He's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Sounds great.
Sounds awesome. No, I really enjoyed this movie. It had a really cool kind of like a mystery to it. It was unraveling as you went. Denzel always sells it. I can watch that.
Anthony Mackie was in this movie.
Yeah, yeah, he was another one of the soldiers.
There's a lot of people in this movie.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Falcon and Master Chief were both in this movie.
John Voight, he's in this movie.
John Voight is not a bad guy.
No.
One of the few movies
that guy from Quantum Leap that has Ziggy?
Mm-hmm.
He was a bad guy.
Dean Stockwell.
Dean Stockwell, that's his name.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, just freaking John Voight, and he was.
And
at least
Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs.
At least we're still
I'd
consistent
fuck me.
that all politicians are pieces of shit.
This is true.
That's
Well,
what I liked about
you know
this.
what was funny is so like in the original Frank Sinatra novel or movie and in the original novel, you know, it's the Manchurian Candidate, and it's the Soviets and the Chinese who do the experiments. And for the remake, this movie, this was around the time, like, you know, like we were like being buddy with Russia and stuff like that, where Clinton was handing over all of our secrets to the Chinese, and we didn't want to insult them, and so they created the Manchurian Corporation. So the bad guys in this movie are
global corporation.
Yeah. Yeah, and not the Chinese or the Russians.
They sold us out, threw us under the bus. What was I going to say? God, I had a comment, but I forgot.
You ever feel like we're just like living in the real world?
I do. That's why I said this is a freaking documentary, dude. Like, I honestly, if this shit came out today in the news and I was like, oh, yeah, okay.
I don't even know if they'd release this movie out there nowadays.
The funniest part was, so like Al Franken plays like the generic newscaster who's just going around interviewing all the politicians. And it's so obvious that that Meryl Streep is basically like Nancy Pelosi or Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, I got strong Hillary Clinton vibes from her. Speaking of which, when I was watching this movie, I don't think they ever outright said it, but which party do you think is the one that has the Manchurian Candidate?
The Democrats.
Oh, for sure.
You think it's both? Okay.
Well, they specifically said California and New York were their strongholds and stuff like that.
Yeah, and they're like, we're weak in the Midwest, and they were trying to get that one senator to like help them out or whatever, and they're like, we're not weak in the Midwest. Like, yeah, you are.
So, what's his name? The old guy who
John Voight.
John Voight.
The old guy. Oh, you know, that hot chick's dad.
Yeah. So John Voight, he plays a Republican senator in this movie, and he's eventually murdered by Nancy Pelosi via the Manchurian Candidate.
These days, man, this movie could be seen as like an allegory for like Twitter. Like, we got this one person who's super popular and everybody like loves him and all this stuff.
Oh, those movies are coming out.
And then the freaking the Republican senator who comes in and it gets like demonetized and slashed down and shadow banned and murdered, you know, via the Twitter or whatever.
Well, you know what's funny is, so like the book was basically about like how communism can infiltrate our government through politicians who pretend to be one thing but are really another.
No.
And yeah, right.
No shit.
No way.
And so when Alex says this is documentary, like if you just look at the far left, that has kind of wormed their way into the government.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is gonna get us hardcore. Unsuitable for ads.
We shouldn't have done this week.
Nope.
That's what it is. Jude, you're not a fan of this movie, huh? Did you like the movie itself?
I thought it was such a downer. First of all, it's over 2 hours. You know, that's a deal breaker for me, but I did it for you.
It felt like it was 6 hours.
It was so long. Plus, I went back because I wanted to see what the difference was between the original and this one. So I watched the 1962 version.
Oh, you did?
Too. Yeah.
How'd it hold up?
It wasn't as like, this movie's very depressing, and so is the original, but not in the same way. Like, there's just something so sad and
cynical,
depressing about this one. Like, the characters in this are, you can tell like their lives are destroyed because of this. Like, especially Bernard, who's like he's
twitching
unraveling.
Yeah.
And the same characters pretty much are in the original, but they don't show you the degree of the psychological torture that these characters are going through. In this version, it's so sad and depressing, and what a fucking downer for over 2 hours that I was like, I want to get the fuck out of here.
Well, they tried to give you a happy ending because at the very end of the movie, once everything kind of settles and we kind of get everything revealed, Shaw realizes that he's being manipulated.
Yeah.
And whatever little tiny amount of humanity he has left control of in his own body, he uses that to kill himself and his mother via the assassination.
The main difference from the original to this one, there's a couple. Marco gets married, or is it Shaw? Fuck. I think it's Shaw gets married, and they have him kill his own wife.
Oh no!
And so that's fucked up. And then in the end, Marco ends up killing himself. So he doesn't survive it. But in this one, Denzel does.
Yeah.
But I felt like that ending was super weird. He's just like, I don't know, walking through Stonehenge at the end of the movie, and he's like, my brain, my memories, and then it's like fade to credit.
Whatever government entity that chick was working with, I can't remember what it was, some initials or whatever, but she was taking him back to the place where they had their memories erased so that they could try and retrace the steps and figure out who was behind it. Because they kind of knew, but they didn't have any solid evidence that this weird like freaking Hitler doctor kept popping up. They had photos of him, but they didn't know who he was and they didn't know who he was working for. So they were trying to unravel the mystery, which I kind of wish, like, I agree with you. This movie did feel like it was a long movie. I think if they would have done the whole presidential assassination thing in like the first half and then the second half, like unravel and defeat the corporation.
It wasn't presidential in the first one. It was just like, I'm running for Senate or something like that. So I liked that they upped the ante for this one. It was like, this is the presidential election.
Well, vice president,
Vice
right?
president, yeah. But like ultimately it was like, we want that presidential seat. So,
For sure.
So I thought that made more sense. It was a little bit more like clean cut. Also, a fun fact, in the original one, the 1962 version, the Meryl Streep part was played by Angela Lansbury.
Who's that?
Murder, She Wrote.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Bro.
I'm sorry. Dude, come on.
She is a treasure.
Sure. I'm not
Yeah,
disagreeing
I was
with you.
never a big fan.
I just never watched that show.
Murder, She Wrote was that thing my grandma watched.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody knows Angela Lansbury.
I'm sorry.
So speaking of Angela Lansbury and Meryl Streep, there's a scene in this movie where, and in the original, where it gets kind of incestuous, where the mother.
It's so weird and creepy.
Super weird and creepy.
So in the original novel, they go full incest, where the mother actually uses the command codes to take her son to bed and has sex with him.
Gross.
Whereas
Sick.
and so like they just imply it in the movie because they were like that's a bridge too far. We don't want to put that on film. So.
I didn't need that.
They did have that weird little scene in here where she was like,
she like kissed him on the lips or something, right?
It was a little,
Or like
little bit weird for
She
mom and son.
motorboated him.
Like, ew, Meryl Streep.
Leave it to
yuck.
Jude. That was another thing too. So like, I'm not super familiar with all of Meryl Streep's work, but I've seen her in.
She's a very
I know you're
serious
struggling.
actress.
I'm like watching this movie, and I've seen her in like Out of Africa, and I've seen her in that Devil Wears Prada and stuff like that. And I'm just like she's good, but like people treat her like she's a freaking
she's revered.
the goddess of actors, and I'm like I don't get it.
Oh,
You're-
you're
so,
of this Seinfeld mentality that Meryl Streep is a phony baloney.
I guess I maybe that's where it's coming from.
Today she's like whenever you have an award show, if you actually bother to watch award shows, they always have that moment where they
cut to Meryl Streep.
where they cut to Jack Nicholson, but he's old, doesn't show up anymore. So now it's Meryl Streep. Oh, look, Meryl Streep's here. Oh, and the heavens open up.
She
yeah.
is
The
Hollywood
light
royalty.
shines down.
Is she?
Yeah.
Does that exist anymore?
So like she's a multiple Oscar winner.
Oh,
yeah.
So like if you win one Oscar, you're like okay, but if
Yeah.
you win multiple ones, you're like royalty, and this is like
I don't know if she holds the record. I'm gonna Google
what
it.
movie was it that she played that lady who made all the cookbooks back in the 60s and stuff?
Julia and Julia?
Julia Child.
Yeah. That I like she's good.
Yeah, she's a good actress.
She's a really good
That's
actress.
not what she's known for.
No, I know. I'm just like I'm trying to think of movies that I've seen.
I
her
always
in.
get her and Glenn Close mixed up.
Yeah, I can see that for
I mean,
sure.
she's no
Meryl
Jennifer.
Streep has never boiled a bunny. How dare you?
What? Wait, what?
Fatal Attraction, dude.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
She's no Jennifer Aniston, but you know, it's fine, whatever.
Oh, yeah. Would you really like that Leprechaun movie, huh?
Meryl Streep's daughter's actually been getting a lot of work lately. She was in Mr. Robot and a bunch of other stuff.
I don't know. I'm just saying, from my perspective as a freaking kid, I guess I just like Meryl Streep's good, but I never saw her as like this freaking idol of Hollywood. Like I was like, okay, yeah, she's a good actress.
So getting back to this movie, one of the things that I had a problem with this movie is that, well, I have a lot of problems with this movie, but the biggest one is that they kind of take the mystery out of it by basically showing you that, okay, yes, there's a conspiracy here. The Manchurian Candidate's real. I think it would have been interesting if the movie had kind of focused on Denzel's character as he believes this conspiracy, but there's no proof of it. And he goes throughout the movie trying to prove it. And you're like, is this guy like really mind controlled? Isn't he like what's going on here? And then at the end, we finally get the reveal. But as it stands, like we find out within like the beginning of the second act of the movie.
Yeah. Well, yeah. When they have that scene where Shaw's in his bedroom and somebody calls him on the phone and they do the secret code and then he like zones out.
I was questioning if it was all real a little bit up until the point with the scene where they were actually just showing them getting brainwashed.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was.
And the basis of it is basically the mad scientist guy. He had some breakthroughs in Alzheimer treatment and kind of like fucking with memory and stuff like that. And that was the genesis of the Manchurian program. And it was kind of interesting to think that you could kind of backwards engineer Alzheimer treatment to create people that you can fully control.
I would have. I wish I would have cast this movie a little bit. They would have a little bit different, because I would have put in the mad scientist role. I would have put in the who's the actor. I think he's German, and he was like in Akira, and he was in Inglourious Bastards. He played the nasty Nazi guy in that.
Like a modern recast or whatever.
I mean, I think
Schultz. Something isn't it Schultz?
What is his name?
He's from Django Unchained.
I think yeah. He would have been really good in that role.
What is his name?
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah,
Christoph Waltz.
Thank you, Christoph Waltz.
Yes, thank you, chat. Yeah, I think he was even active in acting during this time. He would have been. He would have been young,
but yeah,
he would have been a little bit better in a role like that. I didn't really buy into this. The character.
He seemed a little wormy, huh?
Yeah, for sure. But he pulled it off. It was.
Jude, go ahead.
Okay, so the record for the most Academy Awards is Katharine Hepburn, who had four Academy Awards. Meryl Streep has 3 wins for an Academy Award, 21 nominations for an Academy Award, and then Golden Globe, she has 9 nominations or 9 wins and 33 nominations. So she is Hollywood royalty.
Absolutely. There's no denying that.
I'm not trying to disrespect her. It's just from my perspective, I just never really got like what.
I'm not big on Oscar
Me neither.
winner stuff anyway.
Do good work, which I guess she does.
So do you guys want to know what this movie was up against in the theaters?
I would actually
why it underperformed.
100%.
Oh, probably some nerd movie.
Well, let's try to guess. What year was it?
It was 2004.
Yeah.
Avatar.
No.
I don't have any.
Wouldn't that be hilarious? 2004. I have no idea. What
Summer, winter?
July.
Okay, so summer blockbuster
Star
in
Trek
2004.
Movie? Or Star Wars movie?
No, not in 2004. Or it would have been Revenge of the Sith, right? Didn't that come out in 2004? Or was that 2005?
I don't remember.
I don't know. Tell us, what is it?
Anyway.
All right, so the weekend that this movie premiered in 2004, in the month of July, it was up against Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle.
Oh, well, shit.
Thunderbirds and M. Night Shyamalan's The Village.
Oh, that's a great fucking movie. I saw that movie in theaters. It is a great movie. Are you crazy?
Shamalama Ding Dong.
That's one of the best movies he's ever done.
Yeah, that movie sucks.
The Village?
Yeah, The Village was terrible.
You guys are on crack.
We're never doing a Shamalama Ding Dong.
Yes, we absolutely are. Signs, The Village, and I'm going to make you watch Lady in the Water. I'm going to make you watch Lady in the Water.
I was going to ask, did you like Lady in the Water?
No, it was trash. It was absolute trash.
Can we watch the new one where the little kids get old and
old?
I haven't seen that one.
I haven't seen it yet either. We should do an M. Night Shyamalan
no,
week.
please, God, no.
Come on, why not?
You can have a wife day.
We could do 2 good ones
and we'll
and a
have
bad
Tom
one.
do it.
All right.
There are no 2 good M. Night Shyamalan
Signs
movies.
and The Village are good movies.
I love The Village, but also no one else does.
I
love it.
I did like Signs. I thought that
Signs
was
is a great
Signs
movie.
is
Mel
good.
Gibson,
Mel Gibson
Joaquin
and Joaquin
Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Come on.
That's his best word. That's his best work.
Okay, I can accept that. I really like
Then the
The
rest
Village.
of them are still.
I really like The Village because I grew up in like rural Pennsylvania. So like
Rural.
rural, I can't say
Where the
that
weird
word.
Amish
Rear
cultists
wheel
in
drive?
the-
Rear wheel drive.
Is the bourbon's kicking?
Yeah, it is.
All
All right, back to Manchurian Candidate. I just feel like this movie was really well done. I do agree that I think they could have played the mystery up a little bit more.
Yeah, they also could have cut about an hour out of this movie.
Maybe
20 minutes.
That's probably true of
15, 20 minutes.
the next movie we're going to talk about. I think could have been cut down quite a bit, but I liked everything about this. I liked the moment where Shaw, like at first, he's like friendly with Denzel Washington, and then something like clicks in his brain. He's like a real dick all of a sudden, and that starts making him question like, why is this guy acting like 2 different people? So that was a lot of fun, and I really was like surprised at the scene where Denzel goes into his office and they're chatting with each other, and they're like, yeah, there's probably something in your neck right here. Let me bite it out of you.
Oh my God, he like
Yeah.
That's the thing I think Elon Musk is gonna do to make you say his name 3 times.
It's gonna pop
He's
behind.
just gonna
Bite your
appear
shoulder.
and take a bite out of my neck. Only he's gonna put an implant in, and he's gonna know everything I think about him.
well, you know what's funny is so basically like there's a deep state operating here that's secretly controlling the government or trying to influence the government at least. And the one guy who knows the truth is being called a conspiracy theorist and a liar and an unstable person. And it's like, How many conspiracy theories do we know of within the past like 2 years that have proven to be like 100% correct?
Oh
you know?
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. I made a joke a while ago. Like there was something on TikTok or Twitter or whatever. They're like, "How many conspiracies do you believe in?" I'm like, "I'm out. I'm out of all conspiracies because all the ones I thought were conspiracies turned out to be true. I don't have any more conspiracies left.
Yeah.
And I don't subscribe to the flat Earth bullshit. No. So that's like that doesn't count.
That's a troll.
That's a troll.
That's
like
fucking, that's some
do you watch
Reddit bullshit.
Do you watch that documentary where they prove themselves wrong with the freaking laser GPS thing? And they're like, well, that's strange. I guess they're uncalibrated. I'm like, shut up.
Dumb fuck attaching himself to a rocket and shit. Like, get out of here. You deserve to die. You fucking
God damn, dude.
He attached himself to a rocket and died.
Did he die?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't think he died.
Fucking dumbass. It's like,
I thought he just got hurt.
Thank you for like
proving us
fixing the gene pool a little bit. Fucking A, dude.
Holy shit.
It's wild.
Back to Manchurian Candidate. I don't know. We don't have to talk about this movie super long. No. I enjoyed it because it tickles that conspiracy theory brain side of mine. I was just like, oh, yeah, this is cool. Denzel Washington sells everything. I really like the character who plays Shaw, or the actor who plays Shaw, Schreiber. How do you say his last name?
Liev Schreiber.
Liev
Schreiber.
Liv?
I think it's Liv.
I think it's Liev.
Like Liv Tyler?
It's like
Liv Schreiber?
It's like all these Ukrainian names that we're having to struggle with on the news right now. Kiev.
I'm pretty sure it's Liev.
Okay. So anyway, whatever. He's cool. He's a great actor. I love him and most of the stuff that he does. Even Wolverine Origins, he was pretty cool at Sabretooth. But
that's right, he was Sabretooth.
Ray Donovan.
I like him as an actor, so I enjoyed this movie.
No, wait. I feel like I get him mixed up with somebody. But it is he did play with Sabretooth, right?
Mm-hmm. He's Wolverine's brother in the Origins movie that nobody talks about.
That's made up bullshit, right? He's not really. Is
Sabretooth?
Is Sabretooth and Wolverine really brothers?
Pretty sure.
In canon, comic book canon.
Well, in comic book, Sabretooth was Wolverine's dad, I believe.
I quit reading comic books a long time ago.
So glad we've morphed into comic book conversation.
Nerds.
Stay with this.
Anyway, Manchurian Candidate.
You want to do final thoughts and go to rating? I'll tell you I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. I think it was really well done. It brought up some legit freaking conspiracy stuff that I think is probably hinting at more truth than it is fake. And I had a good time with it. I'm going to give it a solid 3-star. What do you give it?
I don't. Hold on a second. Smooth. Let me see. Manchurian Candidate. Well acted, great cast, interesting story. Denzel is Denzel. Mm-hmm. You know, he's good in everything he's in, right?
Yep.
This movie kept me more interested than the other movies that I watched this week. I'm not gonna lie. Probably the best movie I think of the week that we watched. It made you think a little bit. You know, it does make you think about the conspiracy stuff going out there, because I do think stuff like this goes on in some capacity. I think there's stuff out there that the government does that is just nasty, dirty, dark stuff that we really probably don't want to know about. That's really going on. You know what I mean?
There's a line in this movie where they were trying to prove Denzel wrong, where he's like, oh, they're putting microchips in us. And he's like, you don't have to put a microchip in somebody's brain to control them. You can just hypnotize them and do some stress tests and you take care of it. And that's it. It's way cheaper. And I'm like, that's the truth. Yeah. That's the nugget of truth in this movie. Right. Like, you don't have to go through all the freaking electronic bullshit. You can just hypnotize somebody.
LSD was created by the government.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
MK Ultra is a real freaking thing.
Do you want to explain what MK Ultra is?
Okay, so MK Ultra is, I think it was the 50s or 60s, where they were experimenting with mind control on people. And I think it's come out recently. Somebody wrote a book on it. They did some investigative.
Stephen King. It's called Firestarter.
Well, sure, that. But also somebody investigated the Manson murders. And it turns out that Manson was an MK Ultra freaking agent who they lost control of. That's real. That shit is real.
So basically, the CIA did fund this MK Ultra research and using LSD to kind of like alter brain chemistry to make people more suggestible. And they shut down the program and tried to hide the evidence. And then there was like a Freedom of Information request in like the 70s or 80s, I want to say.
Yeah, you can have the papers, but it's all redacted.
Yeah, and well, it came out, and so like since then, people have been investigating it, writing books, and trying to find. I think that George Clooney even made a movie about it called "The Men
Who Stare at Goats." Yes, yeah, that's isn't that a Coen Brothers movie?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Oh, thank God we didn't watch that one. So anyway, yeah, I believe in a lot of this stuff, and I also think it's very kind of American to talk about and
well, yeah, because
decipher this stuff.
You get disappeared if you talked about it in some other countries.
It's kind of wild.
You'll get disappeared here too.
Oh,
It's
for
just
sure.
called cancel.
Deplatformed.
Listen, somebody's gonna knock on the door pretty soon, and we're just gonna like disappear.
Fuck, it's not locked.
And they're going to replace us with clones or something.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about the Manchurian Candidate on a podcast. Oh my God.
And you guys went full freaking.
I know, dude. But
you went hard at the beginning of this.
Got my tinfoil hat on. I'm going to give this, I think this is my favorite movie of the week, I think. Simply because it's got Denzel in it and a great cast. I'm going to go 3.5, mostly to give myself some room for the other two movies that we're going to talk about. So yeah, 3.5.
3.5. That's really high.
Yeah.
Way higher than I expected you to say.
Yeah, I mean,
way too high.
Of the 3 movies that we watched this week, I actually managed to watch this one through in one sitting.
Okay.
The next one we're talking about took me 3 fucking days.
All right.
Okay. So
real quick, we've got people in the chat who are checking our work, which is great. This is like these are our Jamies. That's so right. Dork Knight LV, what's up, Danny? He says in X-Men Forever, somebody establishes that Sabretooth as Wolverine's father, but it's not considered canon. In core canon, he's not related at all.
I didn't think so.
Shout out to Danny. Thank you, sir. All right, Jude, what's your rating for this movie?
Okay. I hated it. However, there's a movie that I hate more than this that we watched this week.
Okay.
So, this movie doesn't make me irate when I watch it. However, if I have to watch it again, it will. It did spark an interest in me watching the original only because I saw a trailer of it, and the trailer was real campy. And I was like, I gotta see what this is about. It was just as boring though. Don't bother. So for me, this is 1.5 bitten microchips.
Wow.
Out of 5.
I didn't think we'd be that far apart.
Okay.
We're twofold.
So I got to ask you, because I've always been curious about this. We joke and talk about conspiracy theories, and you always typically roll your eyes at us. You're like, oh, these freaking idiots. That's
just what I want people to think.
Do you think conspiracy theories are not like a thing? Do you think?
Oh, no. I think you're silly to think that it's actually a conspiracy. Like, this is the way of the world. I'm deeper in than you.
Oh.
I believe nothing. I believe no one. I don't even trust the people in this room. I don't think my life is real. I do sincerely believe that I am in a matrix pod right now.
Oh, wow.
And all I have to do is just like rewire my brain to be like skinnier and younger. I just got to figure out how.
Okay.
Sweet.
It's the female Neo.
The news has been bought.
So we're like basic to you. Like, oh, these plebs are just now figuring this shit out.
Simulation.
I mean, I guess maybe that is like kind of nasty of me to roll my eyes at you when you're just doing your best out here. But like for me, I don't mean that in an asshole way. But like for me, I'm like, yeah, the elections have been taken. They've always been taken. Why do you think it matters what you vote? Forever, I've thought that.
Okay.
We have to remember that her best friend is Conspiracy Tom.
This is true. This is true.
That's
true.
true.
There's got to be some kind of connection there.
None of this is real.
See, because your reactions, the way I read your reactions, are like, oh my God, these people think everything's freaking fake, blah, blah, blah. That's what I see.
You just outed me. Now they know. Give me the hat. Give me the hat.
You can have mine.
They're coming for me now. They're coming for me.
Kanish, give it a rating.
All right, so I'm always very skeptical about conspiracy theories because, I've worked in the government before, and no one in the government's all that smart to pull some of this stuff off. But in recent years, it seems that the conspiracy theorists are the ones who are actually the ones calling it correctly. They seem to be proven right more often than not. And it's all because the narrative that we're told to believe is just manufactured and meant to gaslight people.
Put the hat down, Jude.
Yeah.
Just give it a little quick pinch. There you go.
Jesus Christ.
All right.
Okay.
So anyway, This movie, it's too long. It's too boring. I don't care about any of it. It's got a great pedigree. The cast and the director and all that stuff are top notch, but they just came together for a snoozer of a film. I didn't like the changes that the early 90s or late 90s kind of necessitated. So I got to give this one 2 stars out of 5. I think it's okay. I don't think it's a terrible movie, but it's also like incredibly slow, incredibly boring. And I just didn't care about anything that was happening in it. So,
okay. All right. That's it for Manchurian Candidate. What did you think? Comment below. Let us know if you like this movie. If you're with me and you think it's like all freaking real. Like apparently like Jude too.
I'm with you, bro.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm with you.
All right. Cool.
I've always believed in weird conspiracy theories. The good ones. Some of them are dumb. But,
well, some of them are stupid.
Did you
Some
guys,
of it, I like Tom's theory that the dumb conspiracy theories are detracting from the real conspiracy theories. That seems like a legit thing.
Yeah.
those are
believe that.
agents.
Yeah, 100%.
Have you guys seen Anima's comment?
What did she say?
You guys would all disappear trying to find Croatia in the Baltics, probably somewhere in
This is
Russia.
very true.
Because we're all dumb Americans.
Croatia's down there somewhere by Afghanistan. Yeah. Right? Down
somewhere in the Mideast,
If
right?
you go to Alaska, you can see it from there.
No, you can because the earth is flat. You can see as far as you want.
That's one of those Viking countries, right? Like Nordway or something.
yeah, I'm going to go strap myself to our rocket. We'll see you guys.
Yeah.
All right, cool. We'll see you there.
I'll be at your funeral, I guess.
All right, the next movie on our list is Mel Gibson and Julia Roberts in Conspiracy Theory. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Hey, if you want to support the podcast and download a freaking awesome mobile game, go to saltynerd.com/DC. Yeah, that's correct. And download Dragon Champions. It's a really fun mobile game. It's completely free to play. And by typing in Salty in the promo code area, you guys can support the podcast. The guys over at Dragon Champions really love our podcast. They support the heck out of us. We want to return the favor. If you download the game, you get yourself to level 20, which isn't very difficult to do. You can join our Salty Nerd Podcast Guild. There's only 25 spots available, so head over there, jump in. It's a really fun hero collecting game where you can fight during campaigns, upgrade your characters, upgrade your armor, and then once you get to a certain level, join our guild and you can go on raids with us. Next movie on our list is Mel Gibson and Julia Roberts in Conspiracy Theory. Take it away, Jude.
All right, sir. 1997 Conspiracy Theory, rated R, with a runtime of 2 hours, 15 minutes, which is 2 hours and 15 minutes too long. This had a budget of $75 million. Vader, what do you think this brought into the box?
Mel Gibson, Julia Roberts. Is that the one we're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
What was the budget?
$75 million.
Can I buy a verb or a vowel?
Million.
By a verb.
Buy a verb.
A whole verb? You want a whole verb?
I
don't think you can afford one, buddy.
I'd like an adverb, please.
Box.
$112 million.
Okay, Alex.
These two are pretty big actors. I'm gonna say it made. No, it didn't make that much money. $85 million.
$136.9 million.
Respectable.
I win.
Yeah, that's fine. Cool.
Speedboat King over here.
Well, he does love the motorboat.
I've got a lot of motorboats.
He rides 2 at a time, one leg on each.
That's right.
Like
Van Damme.
Yeah,
He's
like
doing
skis.
splits like Van Damme
Yeah.
in his motorboats.
Yeah, he's got a couple of seahorses in front of him, just fucking leading the way.
Come on.
Synopsis, let's go.
Conspiracy theory. In an attempt to show the world stalking ain't so bad, Mel Gibson watches Julia Roberts' nightly cardio routine through binoculars and even goes so far as to stalk the radio station she's listening to while she runs. Not in a creepy matching her lips to the lyrics way, though, more like in an adorable sing-along way. She's just too good to be true, and he can't keep his eyes off of her. So it's a real treat when she's caught in the crossfire of one of his crazy conspiracy theories that turns out to be spot on. You know what they say, even a broken clock is right twice a day. Jerry gets picked up and thrown in the back of a spook wagon for questioning when he gets too vocal about something. Picard gives him some brain gravy and tapes his eyes wide open, and weirdly, Crazy Jerry gets even crazier and loses his cool. He escapes, taking Charles Xavier's nose with him, and spends the rest of the movie trying to figure out which one of his theories is the one that got Professor X's feathers all ruffled. and being so charming that not even his DEFCON level 1 crazy can persuade Julia Roberts to not fall in love with him. Please discuss. I hate this fucking movie.
Really?
What?
Why do you? No, don't get tape. Stop it. Why are they whispering? They're whispering to each other. Anyway, this movie. I mean, okay, I will agree. This movie's way too long. They spent way too much time.
Yeah, about 2 hours and 15 minutes.
No, I'd say probably 30 minutes could have been cut, and they could have sped this up a little bit, made it a little bit more action oriented, because there's a lot of really cool things to it. Picard's the bad guy. That's freaking dope. I love that stuff.
In 1997, was that cool?
Sure, he was still Picard.
Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah,
He was Sir Patrick Stewart.
Sir Patrick Stewart. Respect where respect is deserved. Whatever.
Before he lost his mind.
Well,
The only thing I like about this movie is the term brain gravy.
brain gravy. That's what my brain is going to be after I finish this freaking class. No, I had a great time with this movie, and it's funny because I joked about the last one being a documentary. I'm like, this is the same thing. It's MK Ultra stuff.
Yep.
It's
the exact same plot as the Manchurian Candidate, actually.
Yeah, pretty much. Except nobody's trying to be the president, but it is the same.
Well, it's basically mind control turning people into assassins.
Right.
Okay, Liev Schreiber trying to become the president is the equivalent of Mel Gibson, this fucking crazy, getting Julia Roberts to fall in love with him.
Maybe, but most of the stuff that he says in this opening credit sequence, it's all real.
That was all.
Yeah, it's all ad lib, but it's all freaking real. He's like, let me tell you about 3 little worlds or 3 little words, the new world order. And I'm like, oh yeah, that was right. And then like he goes off on the freaking
The Meadows.
like all the shit that he says in this opening credit sequence, and I'm like, well, I mean, maybe in '97 it was a conspiracy theory, but in 2022, it's real.
Richard Donner just told Mel Gibson, it's like, I don't care what you say, just come up with some funny stuff to tell the people sitting in the back of your.
And that was all shit Mel Gibson actually believed.
Yeah, well, it's fucking real.
Listen, Mel Gibson acting all weird and crazy is not a stretch for that guy. Okay, it's just
he
crazy.
falls
Mel
right
Gibson.
into it.
He really does. This movie, it took me 3 days to watch this movie. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know.
Boring.
I had a hard time with this movie. It took me 2 days to get to the scene where we're finally in his apartment and he blows his apartment up.
Mm-hmm.
That was when I finally got a little bit intrigued and shit started kind of moving a little bit. And there was still like an hour and a half of the movie left after that happened. So I think I had to force myself to watch the last hour and a half of this movie just to get it over with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Mel Gibson acting a little crazy. Not a hard stretch for that guy because he's a little crazy. I mean, but we all love Mel Gibson. I do. I think he's a great actor. I think he's a great director. He did fine in this role. Julia Roberts, I had a hard time buying her.
Really?
In this character. Yeah, I don't know. There's just something about Julia Roberts I've never cared for.
Huh.
Really?
She's got red hair.
Doesn't matter. I just
So it's not.
Wow,
it's
we
not.
found the outlier.
Yeah.
I think Julia Roberts is just not my thing.
Oh, she's not slutty.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it-
She's like America's
that's it.
sweetheart.
I've never seen her tits, so maybe that's part of the problem. Is that part of the problem?
I don't know.
I've never seen.
Don't ask me.
I've never seen Julia Roberts' boobs, so you know.
Wait. How do you feel about Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman?
I never saw her boobs. I don't care.
Huh.
It's just like if you're gonna play a hooker, get naked.
I mean, she was pretty slutty in that movie, though.
I mean,
Yeah, she
I
played
guess.
a hooker.
That was what made her famous, right?
Yep.
Was that
What
role?
was that movie that she did with Dennis Quaid?
I don't know.
Where she was like a
But no,
horse
you know-
farm lady or something like that.
Oh, her and
Huh.
horse movies.
That's a big stretch. For some reason, I've just never liked her movies. And
Okay, that's fair.
whatever.
It's what it is. Everybody has their own
You know,
taste.
I have a hard time buying Patrick Stewart as a bad guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was well done.
I don't know why, but you know, he's
He's creepy British menacing person.
He's Captain Picard, dude.
Yeah.
It's weird. I have a hard time seeing him in any other role.
I like that Mel Gibson bit his nose off.
Yeah, that was pretty weird. It was pretty weird.
Like this movie could have been so much better if they would have just like really hammered down on like the thriller creepy aspect of it and got rid of like the humor. This has like a lot of humor in it that I don't think needs to be there, and it detracts from the rest of the movie. And I do completely agree with you. It's way too freaking long.
Oh, it's way too long.
They need to shorten this and speed up the pace and get shit moving, and then it would have been great. It would have been awesome. Like, especially that scene where he's in his apartment and Julia Roberts goes there for the first time and she's like, oh my God, this place is freaking crazy. And he like flips the switch and the whole place goes under.
His apartment triggers me.
You don't like hoarders?
I just take everything to Goodwill.
Because that's what they do with
No,
them.
Goodwill's a sham. That's a conspiracy. Do you know Goodwill's a conspiracy, right?
They give me a write-off.
They get shit for free, and then they turn around and sell it for a profit.
Yeah.
And then they pay their freaking employees like $2 an hour. Like,
I
fuck
would do
those
the
people.
same fucking thing because we're all in the Matrix and none of this matters.
That's a legit. That's not even a conspiracy.
No,
That's just a dirty business.
Yeah, I quit donating.
Yeah, I don't go to Goodwill anymore. I guess we don't really care about
I'll go to a
conspiracy.
better one. It's just that they're very close and they give me a write-off.
So, but this is basically the Manchurian Candidate, but on a little more personal level.
With a
love story.
With a love story
thrown in, and
That's not between him and his mom.
Yeah, it didn't do much for me, man.
Okay, that's fair. It's not the greatest of movie. I'm not saying it's a great movie. I enjoy it. I think a lot of it could be a lot of fun if they would have just re-edited it a little bit and sped things up.
So this movie, it's the only movie that Richard Donner and Mel Gibson ever did together that was not a Lethal Weapon movie.
Huh.
And it was written by Brian Helgeland. Now, if you guys remember, the last Richard Donner movie we watched for the podcast was a little ditty called Assassins, written by the Wachowskis.
Oh, God,
And,
that piece of shit.
Yeah, and Richard Donner came in and brought in Brian Helgeland to rewrite that movie. So this was the second movie that he worked with Brian Helgeland with. And for those of you who don't know, Helgeland was the screenwriter for LA Confidential, Payback, A Knight's Tale, Mystic River. He did Man on Fire with Denzel Washington.
I love that movie.
More recently, he did Spencer Confidential. He was the writer on that one.
Oh, that's
The
a good
Netflix
pedigree.
original. Yeah.
Right on.
So basically, Richard Donner was just very indulgent with this movie. He had some big names attached to it, and so he felt like he could get away with a bunch of stuff. And there probably should have been someone there to tell him, like, Richard, you need to cut back on this. But one of the interesting things about this movie is like it's rated R, right? But
Is it?
Yeah, but there's no foul language in it. Like, no F-bombs are dropped. The violence is very tame. Like,
It's just too sexy.
yeah. So there's no nudity in it. So he was fighting really hard to get a PG-13, and for whatever reason, the MPAA was just like, no, this is an R movie.
Why is it? It was a conspiracy.
Conspiracy.
Yeah, I was trying not to make it money because it was too true to real life. That's legit.
It's like
They actually do tape your eyeballs open.
there's no doubt in my mind that this kind of stuff probably happened. And there's some poor schmucks out there that got whacked out.
Well, I'll tell you
Because of it,
my
so-
biggest problem with this movie is, I shouldn't say hate. I don't enjoy watching crazy people in real life. And so I don't enjoy watching crazy people on TV or movies. And Mel Gibson was just playing one of those, like, I'm talking to myself right now. I'm a crazy person. I'm going to say this stuff.
Pull over and play the
yeah.
drums.
And for like the first like 2/3 of this movie, like he's doing that, and I'm just like, oh, this is so grating. Like I don't like any of this. It's so annoying to watch. It's not funny. It's not entertaining. It's just like a slog to get through. And I'd say about 30 minutes into this movie, I was just like, get on with it. And 35 minutes in, I was like, I'm done.
Yep.
I checked out.
I'm right there with you, man. Yeah. I see crazy people like this every day down on the strip. They live in the tunnels underneath the
There's an
street.
entire freaking community of
there's like
people
thousands of people that live
in
down there.
Vegas, dude. When I watched that documentary and I was like,
It's weird,
Jesus
right?
Christ. Yeah, it's real weird. It's fucking people living underneath my house,
And
dude.
the difference between that and this is that, like, that's a documentary to make people aware. This is for entertainment's sake. And Mel Gibson is just so uncomfortable to watch while he's like playing crazy.
So
But he did do a good job playing crazy.
I felt bad for him. Like I think that's
Yeah.
what they tried. They're in the first half of this movie. They were trying to make you sympathize with him because he's this broken character. He's a little bit out there.
Let me ask this question.
Yeah.
So Mel Gibson went down a little rabbit hole, went a little crazy for real.
Oh, you're talking about real life?
Yeah, I don't really want to get into it, but when
We all
when
go a
did
little
that
crazy sometimes.
when did that happen in correlation with this movie?
So during the filming of this movie, he had to host a seminar for gay and lesbian filmmakers
oh Christ.
because he had been using some kind of like slurs to describe, LGBTQXS plus minus division signs. And basically, because of those off-color remarks, he was in the process of getting canceled. And so to try to mend fences, he basically did like a seminar where he invited gay and lesbian filmmakers to come out and kind of
Say sorry.
yeah.
Like, my bad, guys. We're cool. That they were canceling people way back when this movie was made.
Guess
So Mel Gibson. So you remember the whole like sugar tits controversy and
Not
stuff
really.
like that.
Yeah, when was that?
That was after this, but I mean, like he had been kind of like being very kind of like crass, just offhandedly, and it was starting to get attention. And I mean, you know, talk about canceled like Rob Lowe, during his you know, little sex scandal.
Yeah.
You know, he was basically getting canceled. Like, so like there were variations of being canceled back then, but Mel Gibson, he was kind of at the height of his career at this point. And so like, you know, he wasn't in danger of getting hurt, but he had to basically, you know, kind of like do something to mend fences.
Yeah, come out and make the fans think
Little
that
public
you
service.
are not actually this guy. The Sugar Tits thing, that was around the time that he made that Jesus movie, right?
Yeah, that was afterwards.
Jesus.
That's a great movie, by the way.
Well, most of his movies are really freaking good. Like
He's a
have you
really
watched
good-
Apocalypse Now? Or not Apocalypse Now?
Apocalypto.
Apocalypto?
No, I haven't. I haven't watched either one of those.
We gotta watch. Can we do a Mel Gibson week?
Sure.
Let's do a Mel Gibson week.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Didn't we
So Mel
already?
Gibson director? Or
Yeah,
Mel Gibson-
directed.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was called Mad Max. We already did it.
Yeah.
But he didn't direct those.
He didn't direct those. I'm talking Mel Gibson directing.
He's probably a better director than he is an actor.
2023.
Braveheart.
Yeah.
Did he direct that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first movie he directed. I think.
Oh shit, we gotta have Charlie
So
Allen. come on.
Braveheart, Apocalypto, and I don't want to watch a Jesus movie.
Hamburger
That's
Hill.
too heavy.
Passion.
It's
of the
too
Christ.
heavy.
It's too heavy for this.
What do you mean it's too heavy?
It's too heavy.
What does that mean?
That's a rough movie to
That's
watch.
a rough movie. It's a good movie, but man, it's not.
It's not for Jews.
It's not for us. This show.
Yeah.
It's not Jesus isn't a nerd.
No. I don't want to go on that road. But
We actually
You want to talk conspiracy theories? I got one about Jesus.
we actually know the producer of the upcoming sequel to that movie, The Resurrection. So
That's right.
Yeah.
They're making a JCU movie verse.
Who's
Jesus
in
Christ
the
movie.
house? JC.
JCU. It's the Jesus Christ universe.
oh god,
God, that's just called Catholicism.
That's true.
that's
Oh,
also just called the universe.
you want to go down a conspiracy rabbit hole? Friggin', let's talk about the Vatican for a minute.
I don't.
Come on, bro. Let's do it. Let's do it.
You and Tom can do that show.
All right. I guess let's do final thoughts. For me, again, I enjoy this movie because of its conspiracy nature. I think it's probably more accurate than we give it credit for. I do agree the love story between Julia Roberts and Mel Gibson is a little stretched, a little weird here for a minute, especially when she went down into her.
Should have been instant restraining order.
She's
Yeah.
like, I'm so into this mole person.
Well, I think she felt bad for him, but they didn't really put that across.
Also, the plot of this movie is basically like her father was like a big time judge, and he got murdered, and so like she's been investigating the death of her father. And Mel Gibson was originally the sleeper assassin assigned to kill her father, but somehow she helped to break his programming because like he fell in love at first sight when he saw her. And so he went to her father and kind of confessed like what was wrong with him, and the father was helping him out. And when the father was murdered by a different sleeper assassin, Mel Gibson kind of like blocked it out and was suffering from memory loss, but he was committed to protecting Julia Roberts from all this other stuff. A very convoluted story.
Very.
Yeah, I can get it. I understand you guys' criticism. I didn't mind it. I do think it was too long. That's my biggest thing. I'm gonna give this 2 stars. Real soft 2. Vader?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I want to give it like 1.5, but I'll go 2 just because Mel Gibson was good in this. He sold it, so I can't knock it too much. I just didn't enjoy it. I was kind of bored.
Okay.
Really didn't like Julia Roberts. So.
All right. Jude?
1-star crap fest. Pew, pew, pew.
All right.
1-star crap
I
fest?
hate this movie so fucking much. It's boring. It's long as shit. And the love story in it is infuriating. In what fucking world would this woman fall in love with this man? It was just one of those fucking 90s things that the studio was like, we gotta put a love story in, right? It's fucking Mel Gibson. Who's not gonna fall in love with Mel Gibson? He's fucking crazy, and no one should fall in love with him. And also, she thinks that he killed her father halfway through it. It's infuriating. I hate this movie. It makes me angry. If you ever make me watch it again, I will stab someone.
Wow.
Noted.
Please continue.
Kadish, give it a rating.
All right, so my biggest issue with this movie, besides Mel Gibson acting crazy, is Patrick Stewart. And it's strictly because I've gotten to a point where Patrick Stewart has become a villain in real life, in my opinion.
I'm with you, man.
by destroying Star Trek and Picard and stuff like that.
Why does that warm my heart so much?
And seeing him in this movie playing a villain, I was like, yeah, that seems pretty accurate to me. And it just made me sad as I was watching the movie. This movie is like very mediocre. Richard Donner, like he's a pretty like good filmmaker. At least he was early on in his career. It's kind of funny. There's a scene in this movie where Mel Gibson tries to hide in a movie theater and they're playing Lady Hawk, which is another Richard Donner movie. And when I saw that pop up, I was like, I kind of wish I was watching Lady Hawk right now, because the movie was just so boring and stupid by that point. And it was just like, I had a hard time watching this film because like I just didn't care about any of it. And I can't say it's a 1-star crap fest like Jude, simply because like it's a decently made film. So I got to give it 2 out of 5.
Okay.
So we're solid 2s.
Yeah.
With a 1. So we're like a 1.75. Yeah. Math people.
Math and bourbon. They don't mix. Yeah. Okay, cool. Right on. That's it for conspiracy theory. I don't know what else to say. This week is an off week for us. We're distracted by the 5K celebration, and
all week we couldn't figure out who picked this week.
I'm pretty sure I
think
did.
it's a conspiracy.
It might be.
For real. It's like, where did this come from? Why did this end up on our list?
I blame Anima. She's always fucking with us.
These aren't nerd movies.
You were real salty about that the other day. There's not a single laser in any of these things.
Laser beams or boobs or swords or nothing, man.
All right, the last movie on our list this week is the Coen Brothers' Burn After Reading. We'll be right back. We're going to talk about that one. Welcome back, everybody. Hey, if you want to support the show and rock some awesome swag, go to saltynerdstore.com. There you can grab some of our t-shirts. We've got the classic Salty Nerd Podcast logo that I'm wearing right now. And behind Vader in the camera over there is some of our t-shirts that we have for sale. We got You Goonie, the original Scream Queen. And of course, if you've ever been with a big man, you can check out the shirt that Vader's wearing right now. That is also available. And real quick, guys, we have a special new shirt for the month that we're talking about Firefly for our club members. The shirt now, it's got the independent flag, and it says, "We are just too pretty for God to let us die." That is only going to be available for a short period of time. It's a really cool shirt. I had a ton of fun designing it. Head over to the store and type in Salty for 10% off of your purchase, and send us a picture. If you get it, if you're wearing it, let us know. We'd love to share that around the social medias.
I wish I had the big man shirt, because it would be perfect for me to wear out tonight when we go on our meetup.
It'd be great. I'm gonna rock the classic logo.
You and Vader should just switch shirts.
Oh, she'd swim in this thing, dude.
You could do the
Yeah, but we'll do it when we get to the bar.
You could do the midriff tie, right, and make it sexy or something.
Hot.
What are you going to do with mine?
Wear it as a headband, I guess.
Big guy in a little shirt.
Big gut.
Don't ruin my Buffy shirt.
Be like Bert Kreischer running around, like gut sticking out. Hey, you like fat dudes?
Oh, shit. All right, the last movie on our list, Burn After Reading.
Oh, Jesus.
Brad Pitt, Malkovich.
Malkovich.
John fucking Malkovich.
Take it away, Jude.
Vader's so angry.
He's so abrasive about him.
He just annoys me. I don't even know why.
It's because this is why. I already know why. All right. Malkovich plays characters who think they're the smartest person in the room, and they're dicks about it. And that irritates the shit out of you.
I've never liked him. Never. Yep. In anything have I liked
He
John
plays
Malkovich.
the same character in every movie.
He's the same guy, and he just plays himself in every fucking movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We should reach out to him and see if we can get an interview.
No, please don't. I'll okay.
That's all, folks. Go ahead,
Jude, what's the synopsis all about?
2008, Burn After Reading, rated R with a runtime of 1 hour 36 minutes, had a budget of $37 million.
That's it? Oh, that's cheap as fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think it made $82 million.
All right, Vader.
What?
What do you think this movie brought into the box office after a $37 million budget?
I don't remember this movie, so it couldn't have been very much. Great cast, but $50 million.
$163 million.
Okay.
Nice.
How come I never heard of this movie before?
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think you were blacked out or something, because everybody was talking about Brad Pitt in this movie when this came out.
Yeah. Do you not like Coen Brothers movies?
No.
That's probably why then.
All right then.
Yeah.
This is a
I love
Brothers.
Coen. I love
the Coen Brothers movie.
Yeah, this is a Coen Brothers movie.
I'm angry now that you tricked me into watching the Coen
Oh
Brothers movie.
shit! That's why he hates it so much.
I love Coen Brothers movies.
It doesn't shock me that I hated this movie now.
Lebowski, All
See,
Men
I
Stare at Goats.
I love Lebowski.
We need to do a
Fucking-
Coen Brothers weekend.
I'd love to.
Week.
We did Raising Arizona. That's a Coen Brothers movie, right?
I thought that was just. Was it the Coen Brothers
Yeah.
or was it Nick Cage?
It was a Coen Brothers movie.
It starred Nick Cage. We did it for Nick Cage Week, but it's a Coen Brothers movie.
That's a nice twist.
But I'm down for a Coen Brothers week. We
Okay.
can just have Tom sub in if you really hate those movies that much.
We'll see what we pick.
I don't know. I kind of like your salt about it, though.
I do too.
Jude, take it away.
You can keep the hat. Keep the shoes and the hat.
Okay.
Take the pants off, though.
I think I'll go for a run.
Yeah. Wear my shirt and nothing else.
As long as
Except for the hat.
as long as Lebowski's involved, I'll be down. Because I do like that movie.
Draw me like one of your French girls.
He just has tinfoil hats over both of his tits. On a bearskin rug. I need that right behind him. I need it.
Bourbon's kicking in, folks.
Ready?
There we go.
Frances McDormand's got some real ham hocks on her, and she needs corrective surgery if she's going to be able to reinvent herself for the dating world. When her work wife, Brad Pitt, finds a disc with sensitive information on it, they blackmail John Malkovich, whose wife recently kicked his unemployed ass out. The disc contains the memoirs of the recently fired CIA agent, and when the doltish duo demands a finder's fee of $50,000, he refuses. And on to Plan B they go. They try to sell the disc to the Russian embassy and break into Malkovich's house to get more secret CIA info. Unfortunately, Malkovich's wife has her trigger-happy boyfriend, George Clooney, in the house, who in a panic murders the fuck out of Brad Pitt and is also Frances McDormand's boyfriend. Small world. When Brad Pitt doesn't show up to work because he's been murdered, McDormand begs her new boyfriend, who killed him, to find him. Stunned, spooked, and paranoid, George Clooney runs screaming away to Venezuela. Malkovich murders Richard Jenkins in the street, and Frances McDormand gets those ham hocks taken care of. So it was all totally worth it. Discuss.
I freaking love this movie.
I thought it was fun.
It's so fun. What the real gold nugget of this movie is that everything is completely pointless and
Yes.
useless,
Yes.
and it ultimately means nothing at the end of the story.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but is that not a theme for Coen Brothers movies?
I get like in Lebowski, yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Because the money was never there. She was never kidnapped. Like that's a theme in Lebowski, that this is all for nothing.
I feel like that's the theme of my life. Like none of this matters.
This is all for nothing, Jude.
Yeah, it's not even real.
No. And that's the element that I really love about this movie is like this. There's a whole government conspiracy. There's like money being transacted. The Russians get involved for a spell. Like shit gets real weird and convoluted. And then when it all washes out at the end of the day, everybody's like, what the hell just happened? We don't know.
I love the end of the movie when it's J.K. Simmons?
No, not JJ.
J.K. Simmons, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it Simmons?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's just like, all right, so what happened? They're like, oh, fuck. Well, I mean, he killed that guy.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
What did we do with the body?
Yeah.
We burnt it. Okay,
yeah,
good.
Yeah. So then what happened? Well, we shot that guy. Great. Is he dead? Well, no,
No.
he's in a coma.
He's like,
But
oh,
he
fuck.
probably won't wake up. All right, we'll deal with that later. All right, so we good? Well, there's one loose end. This lady, she wants a bunch of pay it.
Yeah.
Pay it. Fade to credits.
Stamps the envelope, closes it, moving on. Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect ending.
This movie is so subtly humorous
Yeah.
because it's not an outright comedy.
It's like abrupt at the same time,
yeah.
though.
It's very jarring.
I watched this as a comedy movie.
Same.
Like this is
Yeah.
not. It plays out and it has the tone of like a political thriller, but it's so freaking hilarious.
Yeah, there's an underlying comedy for every single thing that happens in this movie. Like even Malkovich's wife, Tilda Swinton,
Right.
and she's in the beginning. She's just like, "Oh, hello, did you get the cheeses?" And he's like, "I'm trying to tell you, I got fired
she
today."
got
And
so
she's
pissed
like,
off about that
We're having a
cheese.
dinner party. I don't give a shit about what happened to you or what you're about to say.
Yeah.
We need cheese.
Yeah.
Like my boyfriend's coming over with his wife, whom I hate, and I need cheese, which honestly I relate to because I fucking love cheese. And
Who doesn't love cheese?
Such a bitch through the whole thing. And then it turns out she's like cheating on Malkovich with Clooney, and he's cheating on her with
everybody. Yeah. Well, he's a sex addict. And
every time he has sex, he's like, I think I'm going to go for a run.
I think I can get a run in.
Yeah,
he's like, I got to get at least 5 miles in.
Honestly, like if you take everything kind of out of context, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
But you kind of have to watch it in that scene by scene way.
That's how I watch this movie.
Yeah, same.
This movie, I've watched it twice this week because I just adore this movie. I think it's glorious.
I don't adore it.
I do.
I could probably watch it one more time before I hate it.
So now there's a movie like The Men That Stare at Goats. I've only seen that movie once and I don't remember liking it. So I don't love all Coen Brothers movies, but for some reason, this one is one of those movies that I watched. I said, oh, that was okay. And then I went back and watched it again and I was like, holy shit, this movie is freaking brilliant. And I love it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't necessarily think that it's that entertaining, but if you think about it hard enough, it's really funny and also really smart.
Yeah.
That being said, I don't know that I want to go into a movie feeling that way, like having to do that much work. So I don't need to watch it again.
All right, Kate, go ahead.
The genesis of this movie was that the Coen Brothers were like, yeah, we'd like to do our version of Jason Bourne, but without any explosions or action or anything like that. And so like they decided to just make like a spy movie. And this is the third movie in what they call their trilogy of idiots films.
Oh, nice.
The first one was Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? The second one
Mm-hmm.
was Intolerable Cruelty. And the kind of theme behind the trilogy of idiots movies is that your main characters are basically idiots and they do stupid stuff that serious people then have to like kind of process.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie is very much kind of funny because it starts off with John Malkovich's character. I forget his first name, but his last name's Cox.
Osborne.
Osborne Cox gets fired from the CIA, and he's like a
level 3 analyst.
Yeah. He's like a mid-level CIA analyst, and he's very pissed off that he lost his job, and so he decides he's going to write his memoirs, and so he does a audio recording of him just kind of talking about like all this like stuff that he did while he was at the agency.
Mm-hmm.
And Tilda Swinton, her character, who's Cox's wife, she wants to get a divorce from him. And so in an effort to kind of catalog what he's worth, she gets a copy of his memoirs and takes it to her divorce attorney so that they can kind of process everything that he's worth. I
think she stole everything off his computer because it's not only his memoirs, but it's also his banking information as well.
Yeah, correct. So like his memoirs were kind of lumped in with the banking information.
Mm-hmm.
And the divorce attorney's secretary belongs to a gym where she accidentally leaves a copy of the CD in her locker, where Brad Pitt finds it and thinks that it's actual like CIA secrets.
Mm-hmm.
And so him and his coworker, who's played by Frances McDormand, decide that they're going to blackmail John Malkovich to get it back for $50,000.
So she can get her reconstructive surgery or
so
whatever.
She can get her cosmetic surgery.
She can reinvent herself.
Yeah. And so like, but it's kind of funny because the CIA finds out about this and they're like, what was his security level? He's like level 3. And they're like, whatever. It's good because like none of it's like actual like government secrets. It's all like unclassified, like boring shit.
Mm-hmm.
And Brad Pitt tries to like sell it to the Russians and he tries to like, get money for it.
Like Brad Pitt as an actor, I feel like that dude can do anything.
He's so good.
He's so freaking funny in this movie. He plays such a dumb jock.
It would be so easy to be like, oh, he's so annoying and dumb in this, but he's acting.
Yeah.
And that's what's so great about it.
He goes so over the top. That scene where he sits down in Malkovich's car and they're like, and he's like, you come over here with your freaking Schwinn bike. He's like, you think that's a Schwinn?
And
that
everything
freaking line
that happens
gets me.
after, like after he gets punched, and he's just like his reaction to it. He's like, he hit me.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is so like when Brad Pitt got cast in this movie, he went to the Coen Brothers and he's like, I don't think I can play a character this stupid. And the Coen Brothers are like, you'll be fine. Yeah. And he was like, I guess that's a compliment.
He was by far my favorite character of this movie.
But what's funny is, so like George Clooney's storyline in this is like he's a philanderer and, he's going around basically doing internet dating and hooking up with all these girls. And one of the girls that he hooks up with is Frances McDormand. And But at the same time, he's also having an affair with Tilda Swinton. And when she kicks out John Malkovich, George Clooney moves in, and he brings with him a sex pillow. And the only thing that he takes when he leaves Tilda Swinton later on in the movie is the sex pillow, because that's the most important thing to him.
But he's been working on his sex bike in the basement of his old house.
So I got to tell this story.
Okay.
All right. So basically, like throughout the first act of this movie, George Clooney is building something in his basement, and we don't know what it is, and we think because it's like
they play ominous music. Yeah.
Intelligence.
Yeah. Every time
this is gonna mean something.
Every time they cut to him in his basement working on that thing, they play the most like menacing music possible to make it seem like he's doing something real dark and shitty.
Honest to God, like up until the reveal, I was like, God, I really want Alex to teach me how to weld and solder and like fucking build.
And it was funny because like when they reveal that he was building a sex chair, the minute that dildo comes up, Jude almost like, she was mid-drink, she almost like spit her wine out laughing.
I can reenact it.
It's a fantastic reveal.
Oh my God!
I can hear it. I can hear it in my head too when he pushes it and it goes.
Well,
it's so slow-mo too.
Well, the funny thing is so like the Coen Brothers, they based that off of a key grip that they knew during the filming of their first movie, Blood Simple.
Get the fuck out.
Who said that like, you know, it's like he actually built a sex chair because he was like, the ones that you buy at the store are like $1,000.
Yeah.
I can make this from $100 from stuff from Home Depot. And they always thought it was so funny because he actually showed them the chair that he built, and they were like, eventually we're going to put that in a movie.
Did they have to pedal?
It's fucking brilliant.
You know what,
Just
never mind.
sit down right here, put your feet in the stirrups, and then rock.
Honestly, anytime someone says put your feet in the stirrups, I'm dry as a bone.
Oh no.
Every time I see something like that, I think about that old HBO series, Real Sex. You ever watch that show?
No.
On HBO.
Is it like taxi cabs?
No, it was like a documentary style
It was
show on HBO, and every show had 3 different stories on it, and they all had to do with something sexual. And it was really dirty.
Oh, it was also kind of a documentary.
Yeah. And there was, I remember one episode, there was a section, and it was these people that made sex toy chairs similar to that, except they were like hydraulically powered and stuff. It was wild.
But it was like George Clooney was so proud of his sex chair, and Frances McDormand was like intrigued by it.
Oh, she was into it. Yeah.
Well, they were really good for each other.
Well, until he thought that she was like some kind of an agent or something like that. Because throughout the whole movie, he's being followed by his wife's divorce attorney's like henchmen or whatever to try and get dirt on him for the preceding divorce. But he thinks it's freaking government spooks that are following him, and it all accumulate. What is it called? Culminates. Culminates.
Whatever.
At the end, where he's like, oh, you know what? I've decided to not be so paranoid anymore. Everything's fine. And then when she reveals that her friend was the one who went missing, is the same person that he shot in his closet, and he's like, who are you? Who are you working for? What the hell's going on?
His
and then
freak out is the best part.
it's so funny. And he freaks out and he runs to Venezuela or something.
Yeah, like he notices the guy that she went on the first date with, that, you know, like she just had the one night stand with, like he's staring at her, and Clooney thinks that he's like being watched by that guy, and he's like, do you know that guy? And she's like, oh no, even though like she recognizes him as like a guy that she dated before George Clooney. But the big part of this movie, I remember when I went and saw this in the theater. So there's a scene where Brad Pitt breaks into the Cox household to try to find more stuff that they could sell to the Russians or like whatever. And George Clooney is living there by that point. And so like he comes back from a run and Brad Pitt hides in the closet. And so George Clooney is like taking a shower and Brad Pitt can't like find a time to like sneak out of the closet. And when George Clooney goes to the closet to change his clothes, he sees Brad Pitt there.
And Brad Pitt's just like, hello.
And George Clooney shoots him right in the head.
Right in the face.
Between the eyes.
Like you could tell it was like not even like a thing that he meant to do. It was just a reflex that he did that he didn't even realize that he did after he did it.
But it was also really set up too, because earlier in the show he keeps bragging about how, I'm in the personal protection, enterprise.
He's never fired his gun.
In 20 years, never fired my firearm. But it's just muscle memory. You just kind of act before you think about it. And that line pays off at that moment.
And in addition to that, like I forget who it was, but I think it was Frances McDormand. She was like, you can't have any identification.
Mm-hmm.
Like you gotta tear out the tags, all of that. So then when George Clooney goes through them and he's like, shit, there's no tags.
Yeah.
There's no ID. There's no this.
He's a spook.
He's a spook.
He's a goddamn spook.
He's a spook. He's a goddamn spook. Yeah.
It was so perfectly, like everything came together in that moment so precisely.
Yeah. This whole movie is like a paranoid LSD trip.
Yeah. What were you going to say?
I say that's my favorite part of the movie when
That
Brad Pitt got
Gets
killed.
shot in the face.
It was so sudden and jarring and unexpected that it was like the one time during this movie, I went, whoa, that was pretty cool. And I actually rewound it. I rewinded that. Rewind, I don't know, whatever. I reversed the movie. And
you know what's a weird word? It's roads.
And I watched that scene again because it happened so fast. I blinked and I felt like I missed something. And yeah, it was a trip.
Can you rewind a DVD or a streaming? Is it still called rewind?
just
Because you rewind a VHS.
You push a little rewind, but
Yes,
yeah,
it's
you
still
can
called rewind.
Is
Doesn't
it?
matter. We're all
rewound.
Because when you turn a DVD back in, you don't have to rewind the
you
DVD.
fucking dumb bitches.
You don't rewind DVDs. Do you even rent? People even rent DVDs.
You think
anymore?
Adam Baldwin is
Is-
a real person?
Do people actually buy that Redbox stuff from outside Kmart?
No.
That's just how they get your
the
imprint.
last
dude.
time I got a DVD is when Netflix would still send you DVDs to rent.
They actually
I
still do that.
remember that.
Do they still do
They
that?
still do
still
that.
do that?
What?
They have like 2 million subscribers
Oh,
for that
God,
thing.
So
those old
there's-
people.
There's some old school Netflix employees that are still working in the warehouse
Sitting out there sifting out
in the
DVDs.
middle of Kansas somewhere with this giant building full of
Sitting
DVDs.
on a peppermint farm.
It's like, yeah, I mean, listen, I'm all about, I think I like physical media and stuff,
Mhm.
but nobody actually uses that shit.
It's
like-
collector's
It's
items
like I have
nowadays.
physical media, but I don't watch them.
It's like me. I have somewhere back here. I have a DVD box set from the Jurassic Park and Jurassic World series on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
I don't even have a Blu-ray player.
It's like I will rent movies on Prime, and I've done it many times that we've done for this show. I will spend $3.99 to rent a movie on Prime that I have the actual physical DVD of in a shelf right behind me where I'm watching the movie at. It's weird.
That shit's never been opened. You
It
can
still
see-
still has the
yeah.
plastic wrap on it. I bought this because it was on sale on Amazon. I'm like, oh yeah.
He was like, that's just cool.
I don't even have a Blu-ray. I don't even have a Blu-ray player. It's just
Like
I
my-
wanted it because I love the Jurassic Park franchise.
When we moved down here in 2010, I threw away like 400 VHS tapes. Just threw them. I took them to the dump. It's like, I'm never gonna watch these fucking things again.
Yeah.
I regret doing that now because some idiot out there would probably give me $20 a piece for them now or something. But
You guys ready to be shocked?
yeah,
I'm gonna give this a 5-star.
Fuck
get
you.
the fuck out of here.
This is a 5-star movie.
It
for
is
me.
not a 5-star
I can
movie.
watch this any point in time. It
Take-
never gets old.
Take his bourbon away.
It's funny every single time I watch it. It's superbly written. It's superbly acted. Everybody who is supposed to be unlikable, everybody's supposed to be unlikable in this movie, and they are. And the only one who's sane is J.K. Simmons at the end of the movie. Like,
Yeah.
I adore this movie. I really, really like Coen Brothers movies for the most part, and this one is top notch.
I respect that.
That's cute, man. It's cute.
However, this is a 3-star movie.
Okay. Why?
It's just 3 Coen Brothers out of 2 for me.
That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't matter.
What did I give the Mel Gibson movie?
I don't remember.
I think I gave it 2.
I think you gave it 2.
I'll give this one a 2 as well.
This is not.
It's a
this
2.
is not on the same par.
It's-
but
Come
I
on,
respect your
man.
opinion.
Conspiracy theory, you think is the same
Yeah, it's-
level of goodness as this movie?
It's just Coen Brothers quirky bullshit. It's just whatever.
Wow.
Bunch of A-list, I
This
guess,
is-
actors.
I disrespect your
we're
opinion.
gonna do a quirky Coen Brothers movie.
Honestly,
You
this
know, the
is
best part
my
was-
problem for allowing his wrong opinion into my
Whatever.
Matrix pod.
It sure ain't no fucking 5-star movie. So my 2 stars gonna negate his 5-star, and that'll give us the average
Oh,
down
we
to a
can share
3.
a pod.
Fight me
Yeah.
about it.
I don't need to fight you about it.
We can share a pod.
Candice, what's your
We're
rating
doing
for this?
this? Okay.
Well, I'll say this. If you're going to have to give a movie 5 stars, the fact that it's a Coen Brothers movie is a good choice. I don't personally believe this to be a 5-star movie. Like, I appreciate the Coen Brothers kind of like nihilistic sense of humor, especially with this movie. One of the things that frustrates me about their films, especially around this time, because they were making No Country for Old Men like back to back with this, is that No Country for Old Men, you had major plot points happen off screen, and then like later on characters would show up and talk about them. And the kind of the same thing happens with this, especially like at the end where they're just like, the gym manager is dead, and Charlie Cox got shot and now he's like in a coma and blah blah blah. And it was just kind of like a weird way of telling the story. But the Coen Brothers got kind of experimental with this, I think. Probably my favorite part in this movie is Frances McDormand keeps taking her dates to see the same film. Mm-hmm. And it's a movie that, what's it called? It's called Coming Up Daisy. And there's this running gag about how Dermot Mulroney is like, the star of this film. And like he shows up at the morning show later on and stuff like that. And they had a lot of fun with this part, because if you look at the poster for this fake movie, in this movie, it stars Claire Danes and Dermot Mulroney. It's based on a book by Cormac McCarthy, who wrote No Country for Old Men and The Road. And it was directed by Sam Raimi. And there's only like one scene in the movie that shows like a shot from like the film. Mm-hmm. And it just looks like a really stupid romantic comedy. But the Coen Brothers always kind of like throw like something like that into their movies to kind of like give a shout out to Sam Raimi or Bruce Campbell or someone like that. So I enjoyed like that little aspect of it. This movie, I can remember being very disappointed having seen it in theater, but upon rewatch, I feel like it played a lot better. And I'm going to have to give it 3 stars. Okay. So like it was an enjoyable movie. It was much better than I remember it being.
Here I am on my hill with my flag.
It's okay, man.
The more I hear you guys all talk about it, the lower I want to amend my score.
What did you give it?
2, right?
I gave it 3.
3.
Oh yeah, that's 2.
Okay. Come on, the bit where George Clooney's like, is this goat milk? Because I have a thing where I have not acid reflux, but he says
anaphylactic.
No, it's
listen, the only time
lactose reflux.
It's lactose, anaphylactic, and
acid reflux.
Acid reflux.
And Malkovich is like, which one is it? Is it acid reflux or lactose intolerant? Because they're 2 different things.
Yes.
That whole bit was I was dying laughing.
Clooney's like, that guy's an asshole.
Yeah.
So like, okay. Lebowski. Yeah. There's something about Lebowski that I like.
It's gold.
It's a
5-star movie.
It's probably a 5-star movie.
Yeah.
But I can't officially give it that because we've never watched it. But there's just something about that movie that resonates with me. I like the characters, John Goodman, Bridges, all of them. It's a great movie. There's something about this one that just I didn't have any visceral reaction to anything in this movie except for when they killed Brad Pitt. And that was just because it was kind of a little holy shit moment.
For
and
me,
I didn't laugh. I just was like, okay, is this fucking thing gonna be over pretty soon? That was my attitude to the whole movie.
Dude, when Malkovich
I hate fucking John Malkovich.
When Malkovich was on his boat and he's doing this stupid aerobics thing, he's like, I'm back and I'm bigger than fucking ever.
Yeah, it's just,
on the boat that they had already fucked on.
Yeah, Judah was like, I used to do that guy's aerobics.
Elon Jenklowitz. I used to do his aerobics every fucking day, bro.
Damn it. Oh God, this movie. I don't know. This is just as rewatchable to me as Lebowski. To me, it's the same.
I feel like all the Coen Brothers movies have like a rewatchability to them, especially the more ridiculous ones.
It's 1 for me.
One watch.
Lebowski?
One and done.
No.
Oh.
This one is 1 rewatch.
Okay.
I'll put it in the future because you're probably going to make me watch it again.
Nah, I doubt it. What's a Coen Brothers week look like for us? Lebowski, obviously.
Oh,
Is Fargo a Coen Brothers movie?
Lebowski, I could watch.
Fargo's a fucking amazing movie.
Yeah, Fargo, I could watch again and again.
Okay.
One of my favorite Coen Brothers movies is Miller's Crossing.
I never heard of it.
Never heard of it. Don't trust you.
It's a more serious.
So Lebowski, Fargo, and something else. Something we'd probably hate.
I'll let the patrons pick or something.
Yeah, okay.
No, I don't trust them either.
No. Yeah, they're pretty.
This is the Matrix.
All right. That's it, guys, for Conspiracy Theory Week. Thanks for joining us. What's your favorite conspiracy theory movie? Let us know in the comments below.
What's your favorite conspiracy theory?
Yeah.
I know what Adam Baldwin's in. That's a great conspiracy theory. All right. Vader, where can they find you on the socials?
Oh, you can find me at Matt Vader74 on lots of them. Twitter.
Great.
Twitter, Bitter. The Musk one. Oh, it's the same one. Facebook, YouTube. Yeah, the things.
Cool.
I'm all over.
Jude, where can they find you at?
I'm looking at Coen Brothers movies right now.
We can do that later. Where can they find you at?
Fine. You can find me at I am Juju on Instagram and on TikTok, and you can find us on Discord at saltynerddiscord.com.
All right, Matthew Kadish.
You can find me at Matthew Kadish, Kadish on Twitter. Kadishbooks.com takes you to my Amazon page where you can check out my novels. And if you want to check us out, we have a Facebook group. So go on Facebook, search for the Salty Nerd Podcast, and please join our group.
All right, guys. You do me a favor. I'm trying to grow our Instagram account. We have about 700 and change followers on Instagram. Go to Instagram, type in Salty Nerd Podcast. You'll find us there, and help me get to that 1,000 followers mark on Instagram. I really appreciate it. I love posting there. I do a lot of stories and clips from the show and stuff like that. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. And as always, stay salty.